How you doing? Welcome to Jeff's Unknown. Oh, happy New Year's, everybody. We're 2026. Yeah, we are having a blast. Yes, me, myself, and maybe you, right? Because obviously, without you, I'm talking to myself, right? I'm down in my basement all by my lonesome. I have no friends. I listen. Guess what? I'm talking about a good subject today. Alien bodies. Oh yeah, we got to talk about that, and we have to make sure that we have to ask the questions, because if we don't ask questions, we don't know. You know, over the years, it's been about 3 years I've been in doing paranormal, but obviously in the francophone world, because I'm from Montreal. So I do go on the radio once a month. I have my podcast in French, Jeff en direct, or All de la Matrice. Yeah, those are 2 pages. I talk about a lot of stuff. And I'm going to tell you something. I have interviewed amazing authors. Like there's one here. This is actually one in English. It's backwards. I don't know why it's backwards, but it says Language of the Stars in the City of Light. And that's from Annick Beaubaignard. This book is awesome. This author has blown me away. And at a very young age, very, very young age, she shows pictures of stuff. Wow. And I talk to a lot of experiencers. I think that's what we call them now. I think that's what we call those who have interacted with extraterrestrials, experiencers. I think experienceur in French. And it's awesome. It's awesome to talk to these people, like to hear their story, to get a like a visual aspect of what's going on. Like to step back and like say, "Wow, okay," and you notice this, you notice that, and I tell you one thing, it's very personal. Everybody who has this experience or these experiences, it's personal. And it's on a real personal basis. So it was awesome. I get to talking to these people, and I think I'm going to interview them in English. I'm going to try to bring some people to my live, to my page, do lives and or channel, if you want to say, because I'm so used to Facebook saying page, but this is a channel, and I don't do anything on Facebook anymore. Forget about Facebook. Nope. No. After 30 days, they take away your content. It's not meant for content. You know what it is made for? Trolls and bullshit. And you know what? I'm on YouTube now. YouTube has a great platform that allows me to do a lot of things. And you know what? I should have done this years ago. But listen, things happen for a reason. All right, let's get to the point. Yeah, it's like, get to the point, Seth. Get to the point. I want you to talk about the aliens. Well, you remember this guy? Remember this? Yeah, remember that? Yeah. Remember that there? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that whole famous autopsy. The famous video, and then eventually they found it to be fake and debunked it and stuff like that. And I find there's a lot of stuff that we just, we give it face value, and but we don't put really any thought into it. And that's where I was taking a shower. This is weird, okay? not the shower aspect, but I was in the shower this morning, trying to wake up for my day and say, I gotta, because 2026, you're gonna see a lot of this face. I'm doing lives. That's it, baby. We're doing it, and we're gonna go hard. We're gonna go full throttle, and we're gonna really reach out to you guys, because like there's a lot of pages out there that talk about paranormal and UFOs, cryptology, zoocryptology, whatever you call it, all types of stuff like that. But I don't know. I have my own little, spice and taste and yeehaw to it. And, I really talk about things that, and you know what? And what helps me is that I got a lot of experience talking to people, researching. At the age of 8, I was going out there studying and all this stuff, but never put any thought to actually building something like this. So this morning, taking a shower, and I'm thinking about, yeah, let's talk about, alien, bodies and stuff like that, because a lot of us, we're aware of the Roswell event, and if I just want to, because I pulled it out here. It's like, 1947, Roswell, New Mexico, and it has become this is Wikipedia, and Wikipedia, you got to take it with a pound of salt. But it's like a conspiracy theorist alleged that the U.S. military, recovered crashed extraterrestrial spacecraft and stuff like that. But what makes it unique is that there's a lot of witnesses. There's a lot of people talking against what the government at that time, what they talked about, what the narrative which the government said. But what are you talking about? Yes, I know one of us went to the newspaper. Yeah, the famous newspaper. Here, I'll try to. Here, yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out. But it's just, and then but then I realized that the military kind of smartens up after doing some stupid errors. But remember, this is like the first time per se that this type of event happened, that there are multiple witnesses and they want no questions. So here it is. Well, obviously we know this one. Sorry for it's like a little bit distorted, but he says the RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch. So, I don't think that was like a mistake. Like, oops. Oops. Sorry, we didn't mean flying saucer. We meant flying balloon, weather balloon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's like saying, no, I'm sorry. No. We didn't put salt in your food. Yeah, and you're going to taste it. Salt. So, listen. But I mean, look, you obviously know this. I mean, who doesn't know about the Roswell event? Who doesn't know about this? I think we've talked about it like it's boring. It's like, give me something new, right? So they recovered alien bodies. Now they said there was about 3 or 4. I'm not too sure exactly. You know what? I should have done my homework. I should have. Whatever. Okay. They recovered a couple of bodies. Now, this is where I had the epiphany in the shower and saying, wait a minute. If these things crashed, and I've been saying it for years, aliens are very, very, these extraterrestrials that we refer to, these beings, now they call them, what is it, the biological entities or something like that? What hold on. Let's say here, what do we call alien life beings? I don't know, whatever. I know my English is terrible. Extraterrestrial life. No, really? No, it's called it's a biological extraterrestrial entity or something like that. Let's see, what do they say? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. An EBE, an extra biological entity. There you go. EBE, baby. And they call these EBEs, whatever, alien bodies, whatever, these beings. And they but I've been saying it for years that these creatures or aliens, whatever. Anyways, we're back to that again. They're very vulnerable. If they're so technologically advanced, how come were they able to crash? How? You see, this is where questions that nobody asks. How the hell do you get to crash your vehicle if you're so technologically advanced? So shit happens. And it happened. And there were beings that were killed, apparently, because there were just too many witnesses saying, hey, listen, I saw them. I saw their bodies. There were a lot of military officers and military there, military police and all that, and said, hey, listen, I saw the bodies. They're right there. And listen, they're not human or whatever they are. They're just not, you know. And the question is, if you're so technologically advanced, and see, this is another thing. I keep on asking the questions about that. Why didn't the others come and rescue them? Why did they allow them to capture them? And remember, I discuss on abductions, a lot of abductions. I've talked to a lot of experiencers who've been abducted. And these things don't need to, knock at the door and ring the doorbell. They're able to come right into your room. How they do it? Well, who knows? I mean, some of them, I think they have a capacity of just bending space and time and opening a portal and right there. I don't know. But they are able to do that. They're able to walk through walls and stuff like that. They're able to mask themselves. So their comprehension of teleporting, and even let's say if we go to the Star Trek reference, if they're able to, teleport back with the person, why couldn't they just go and retrieve the bodies of their I don't know, their people, or So the question is that, did they do it on purpose? Did they let us keep their bodies? I don't know. You see, this is where the question is. This is the ultimate question you ask. How is it that the military, and look, trust me, it was in 19, what was the, let me see here. The Los Angeles event UFO. That was in 19. It was I think it was during 1942, the Battle of Los Angeles. Yeah, 1942. They had a UFO. There was an object that was above Los Angeles in 1942. And I don't believe the United States was in the Second World War at that point. No. And all of a sudden, this thing appeared, and they're like, what's going on? Shoot the damn thing. And they shot the shit out of it. And I mean, like anti-aircraft, boom, 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 rounds after rounds after rounds. And at that time, I'm going to be honest with you, in World War II, there was a lot of massive firepower. Okay, maybe not like today. Today, we got so much capabilities that, you know what I mean? We can really do some damage. But even though in World War II in 1942 in Los Angeles, this thing appeared and they were shooting the shit out of it and they couldn't even take it down. There was nothing that was penetrating. This thing was just looking at it like, it was like literally unscathed from their attack. So obviously this crash, it wasn't the military that took it down. So even if they came to wherever the bodies were, or to the crash and, repossess their comrades, they're able to do that without any difficulty whatsoever. So the question is we have bodies here and they don't come and pick them up. Why? Why is that? And it's not the first time. There were many other bodies that were left in other crashes or X number of scenarios. Why didn't they come and retrieve their comrades? Why didn't they? Why didn't they? And that boggles the mind. I mean, I do have some, I have a thesis behind it. I have maybe a belief that maybe they are unable to. Maybe they just are just, I don't know. Maybe they're just doing it on purpose for us to take that technology and see how far we go. And a lot of people, and this is not the first time people have said this, And they said, maybe there was some type of intervention in humanity and allowed us to see how progressive we were going to become, see the potential we are. Or maybe those bodies maybe might have seemed to be extraterrestrial. But who says that it's not terrestrial? And that's the question. So how is that? I've been putting a lot of thought to that, and I asked myself, I just don't understand why. Why would they let their own comrades be dissected, and why don't they retrieve the bodies? I mean, if they can go into Manhattan, there's a huge, huge abduction case, UFO, very popular. This woman in Manhattan, millions of people in Manhattan come around and pull only her out of the apartment, airborne in the sky. Okay, so they didn't even have to do anything. They have that capability of taking somebody and levitating them up in the sky. So why didn't they do that? Why didn't the aliens do that? Now, there could be multiple reasons why, but a lot of people are asking that question. If they do exist, or if this Roswell thing did really happen, then why didn't they react? And I ask myself, that's a really good question. And obviously, there were many people working in Area 51. We're talking about doing tests on biological material. So obviously, probably pieces of body, and a lot of them were talking about how the the material itself was very unique and artificial a bit. Or maybe it's just a lack of empathy. Maybe these things don't have the empathy, or because I know there's a lot of soldiers that will go out and battle, and there are a few of their dead comrades, and they'll do everything to go and retrieve their bodies, but not these things. So that's the question I ask. Why don't they? They said, oh, we've retrieved some of their spaceships and stuff like that. So why don't they come and take them back? Why don't they? You see, that's what fascinates me, and I'm telling you, it's something that we don't put enough light on, and there's just so many other formalities. Like for an example, the Phoenix Lights, right? We look at that event, and that was just crazy. And now a lot of people say, oh, it's military, and it's this and it's that. But if there was an Air Force base not far from there, who says that it wasn't the military and it wasn't extraterrestrial? Maybe it was something else. Because some people were saying that they saw lights that were in a V formation, and this is which gets to me. I hate this all the time. A lot of people say, oh, it's a military experiment. Oh, it's all a military. It's military. Oh, I hate that. Do you seriously think that the military has that type of technology that they're just going to let it off and loose and let's go? I think we give ourselves a little too much credit. I think we do have some type of technology that is superior. And we don't have the capability to protect what we seized. So the question is that who's really piloting those things? Who were those people? Who are those things? And were they the first of their kind that came here? And then after they followed? Was it from a different race? Were they supposed to be there? Mm-hmm. Were they supposed to be? And then maybe a bunch of kids, the alien kids that went into a ship, stole it. Like you would steal your car and did some stupid shit and bang, crashed the alien thing. And the parents don't know where it is. Who knows? But I know it's funny, but when you think about it, when you really think about it, because when I go in these books here, and I have this beautiful book, and she just talks in detail about the capabilities of these creatures, like how they were able to communicate without language, telepathically without talking, showing so many superior things, but yet can't retrieve. Look, she shows like this thing here. of babies and showing how they were growing. Well, let's say the word harvesting. We don't know what they're really doing for it. They say it's for whatever, but nobody can give us a straight answer. But the question is how come? I don't know. I don't know. Alien bodies. And there's so much information on the internet now, and it's so many fakes. It's so hard to believe anything now. There's nothing that people could show me and say, "Hey Jeff, I saw this." And I'm like, I don't know. Even I was with Bruce Schwartz. Now he was a legendary amateur astrologer or whatever / ufologist that captured so many things in the sky, and people were saying, "Oh, it's fake, it's fake." And I actually went there to his house and filmed it myself, and I saw two craft come down, these balls, these huge illuminated balls. They were like amber color, and you can check it out on my French page. But a lot of people told me, "Oh, that's bullshit." And I'm like, how can you? But you see, it's subjective, so it's so hard today to prove. But back then, it's really hard not to not believe. It's so they found, okay, so they found bad alien bodies. Okay, why was it crashed there? Okay, good. But what else? What else can we learn from the past? Alien 51, alien, yeah, okay, alien. That's right, Jeff. Area 51. Do you seriously think that there's alien aircraft there? And that place has become so popular. You see, this is what I just think that I think people capitalize on ufology, and they capitalize on it, and they just regurgitate and continue making things. Like if you go to Roswell now in Mexico, I'm telling you, you go to every shop, there's shops for aliens and stuff like that. It's become mainstream. It's become something like it's culturalized. And the fact is that people don't ask these questions because they're so used to saying, okay, they came, they crashed, they have alien bodies, the Americans or the government or the secret government, they got all types of alien craft, and oh yes, and they're, I don't know. The thing is that if these things did crash, why didn't there people come pick them up? Unless there was something behind it. Unless there was a reason why. Unless they do not want to mingle with us because they realize how unpredictable we are. How if they did find out that maybe they weren't able to come back here, maybe that was the type of sacrifice they had to. Well, we have no choice to sacrifice John, Millie, and Bobby, because if we come and take them, that will push the whole agenda to saying that we're real, and they don't want to, because obviously they don't want to say that they're real officially, because if that it means they're real, that means we have to do something about it. So I think maybe they had no choice, and they sacrificed their own, let them be dissected. But haven't you noticed the aliens that we see in pictures like that and all that? They all look like us. 2 arms, 2 legs. It's really weird. Look at the picture. Okay, yeah, they got big eyes, but they got a mouth, they got a nose, little nose. It just looks like us, but like weird. So the question is that if these aliens look a lot like us, because we picture maybe aliens to look differently, right? Because if life created elsewhere, shouldn't they have their own set of rules? Shouldn't they have like 4 eyes, maybe not eyes whatsoever, maybe antennae, just to, I don't know. The thing is that how come they look like us? And this is where I have a theory that comes behind all that. Some say it could be us in the future. Could be, so another subspecies of humans. But 100,000 years ago, there were more humanoids that were here that look like us, but were not associated with us. So the question is, who are they and where are they from? And are they closer than we think? And if they're very vulnerable, that means they're not that technologically superior in a sense where shit can happen for them. I mean, look at us. We could put people in space, but there have been spacecraft that exploded and disintegrated. Columbia was a Voyager, I think. So maybe if shit happens on them, maybe they're not as vulnerable. Maybe they're not as superior as we think they are. Maybe they're very vulnerable too. And that is what the question I give you. Why do you think? And if you want to write in the description, go ahead, write it down. Tell me what you think. Why didn't they come and retrieve the bodies of their comrades? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. This was a great live. I'm going to do more of these. So we'll talk. We'll just break the ice like that, man. We got to see how it goes, see the flow. We got to question and, talk. And I'm going to try to get some ufologists in the English world and come here and talk about and have nice little conversations, because yes, we've heard it all. We've seen it all. But the human experience is what's missing. Is what that personal connection we have that's missing. And I think there it relies a lot on attention. And I believe that's where dwells all the answers that we need. Because remember, you and I could have the same experience, but different, completely different. And I also did that as an experiment once. I was giving a conference speech in front of people at a ufology group. There was a woman. I said, "Could you sit down, please?" And I had like a model of an actual ship, like the Roswell ship, and with an alien. I said, "Woo, look at this, woo!" So I go around her like a few times around her head, and I said, "Describe your experience." And then like she would describe it, but then I'm like, "Okay, what about you?" And that was the person that was sitting like a spectator. And I said, "What did you see? How did you feel?" And I said, "See, same event, two different perspectives, two different types of feeling and point of view." So that's why the answer relies not just in general, but with the individual. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and yes, don't forget to share it. It'd be nice. Tell your friends. I'm going to be here for a while. 2026, baby. That's what we're talking about. The unknown and the human experience. Have a good one.